What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm the Crypto Crow, and I'm going to start off by talking about a few different things. Well, this video is going to be about a few different things. I'm going to go into Bitcoin a little bit, what I'm kind of expecting, what I was expecting to see before, and how that's happening, and why I think it could go a little bit lower. And we're going to talk about altcoin projects that I think can turn people into millionaires. Now, I've been spending a lot of time going through different metrics and things. I'm going to be showing you a little bit more about, I'm going to show you some statistics, some metrics on-chain and off-chain and things like that about some projects that I think are going to do really well moving forward, as well as some that I think are probably going to do well, but maybe not quite as well, and they're all under a quarter right now. So hopefully that'll help you guys out. And then I'm going to go into Crow Trader a little bit because I've been diving back in. I pulled it off of my VPS. I put it back on my desktop and I'm just running it. And so hopefully you guys appreciate this video. And if you do, smash the like, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and let's get going. Looking at Bitcoin right here, we see this big red blood diamond here, which obviously is what we're looking for big drops. But yeah, you can see it. Okay, so basically we saw Bitcoin touch above $12,000 and that didn't hold, okay? And I know that there's a CME gap around 9,800 bucks. And I think that we may potentially be on a mission to fill that gap before we go up quite a bit. And we could see 12,000 again and higher. And because of that, some of you guys know I'm actually doing this trade contest, and yeah, there's a link in the description. It's Crow's team or Crow's Nest team or something like that. Join it if you're an advanced trader and you're good with leverage. You've been doing it a while and you're not in the United States. Join my team. Let's see what we can do. Let's beat some of these other guys from different places. It's just a fun thing, like 150 Bitcoins up for grabs and a whole bunch more. So, and if you're doing trading on ByBit and you're a part of my team, I know you're going to get, and other people's teams as well, but you're going to get lower trading fees and all kinds of stuff. So, but don't do it if you're a newbie because you'll lose everything. Let's be real about it. I don't want any newbies getting involved. But anyway, outside of that, I put in a buy order at 10,000. So I've been waiting patiently for it to fill, and I'm hoping it does, because if we do fill that CME gap at 9,800, it could dip a little bit lower. And if we do fill that gap, it's probably going to be a quick wick. So I don't even know if my $10,000 buy order is going to fill. But I'm waiting to see what happens. And look, I'm not trading with big money, because when I'm talking about ByBit trading, I don't do a very, 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 very tiny amount, because if I screw up and I lose it, I don't want to be crying. You know what I mean? And you can lose a lot as quickly as you can lose a little. So I just play with a little bit of money. I have fun with it. It's kind of like, golf is boring unless you've got a bet on. You know what I mean? Or baseball to me is kind of boring unless you're making a bet. You've got a parlay. Football I enjoy watching, but even that, I tune into the Super Bowl. I'm too busy focused on eating, but if I've got money on the game, then it makes things more exciting. So that's kind of how I look at leverage trading a little bit. Not necessarily like gambling, but when you see stuff like this, what's going on in the market, I mean, it's very easy to get liquidated, whether you're long or short, because the whales and the people that can manipulate the markets, they still have that power right now. So trading at leverage is very risky. That's typically why I just focus on scalping trades, not necessarily, I'm going long and I let it sit, that kind of thing. I do have a link to a tutorial down below, though, if that'll help you out. It's very, very, I think it's pretty well done. I think you'll like it, but check it out. Anyway, on July 31st, the day Bitcoin pressed past $11,500 for the first time in a year, one cryptocurrency trader predicted a steep retracement. The trader commented in a tweet that while he wasn't in a trade at the time, he would not mind getting in a long position from around 10,300 to 10,500. And okay, cool. And I know other people, Bitcoin may drop towards the CME gap in the 9,600s. So I'm actually kind of expecting this to happen. So I'm not going long just yet. And especially because if I'm looking at Market Cipher, which I do still use, I still love it. He's not paying me squat anymore. I'm not even an affiliate, but I like the indicator, folks. But I've got this basically, and I've shown in other tutorial videos that when you see a double wave to the downside or a double wave to the upside, typically that means when you have a larger wave followed by a smaller wave to the downside, typically that means the price isn't done falling. And anything could happen, and this isn't 100%, but from my experience, when I'm looking for trades, this is exactly the setup I'm looking for just from these two indicators alone. And so, and I mean, that's like right about here. So we're looking at right about here. Now, we've got a couple little white candles, and granted, this is a 15-minute chart, so this is a scalp chart, right? So anything could happen. But from a scalp person, if I'm scalping, I'm probably going to short here and wait to see what happens. You know what I mean? Maybe set up a stop loss. But that's kind of what I expect to see. So, we'll see how this plays out. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. It's Sunday. We'll see what happens to the markets overnight into Monday. And we'll see where we go. But I expect to see something sub $10,000 here sooner than later before we start to really pump up. But anything could happen. So we'll see. Here we go. We're looking at altcoins now, and this here, these are there's 9 projects here. Okay, so there's 9 projects, and let's see. So we're looking at, and this is not in the order that I like these projects, obviously, because Cardano's in 5th right now, and Cardano honestly is my number 1 project I believe Cardano is probably going to be the one project over 2020, 2021, and 2022, depending on the end of the market cycle or the peak of the bull cycle. I think Cardano is going to be responsible for making more millionaires than just about any other project. And that's just a guess, but I do believe that Cardano alone is going to make a lot of millionaires. I truly believe that, and I'm hoping I'm one of them. Aeon, this is a really good project, and they're doing a lot of stuff. They've changed kind of their focus a little bit over time, but it's currently sitting back at 10 cents. And if I'm looking through the metrics, the real volume, not the reported volume, but what they consider the real volume is about $1.3 million a day in trade volume, which is what I look for as a minimum for the most part. I don't really want to mess with projects that are under $1 million a day in trade volume, and I'd like to see more, obviously, if at all possible, because the higher the volume, the more people that are into the project, the more transactions you're going to have, the more you're going to see moving on that blockchain. But its original all-time high was $10.53, which is pretty high considering it's sitting at 10 cents. You're looking at a break-even multiple of 101. So for buying, but here's the thing. Its low was 4 cents. So it's come up 145% since its low, which I think is pretty decent. But as you see, a lot of these other projects are pumping much, much faster. Now, when I'm looking at altcoins and I'm looking at the potential for them, I'm not necessarily, typically anything over $1, I don't really mess with that much. In some sense, I consider altcoins like penny stocks. You're going to lose on a lot of them, but when you gain and you do really well with the ones that do well, it's the profit potential is far going to outweigh the losses of those that didn't do well. And that's kind of how I look at the market. And so I typically like to keep things under $1 because when I buy something, I'm going to buy something with strong fundamentals, something that I really think is going to do well, short, medium, and long term. And if anything, long term, like Cardano. I've been bullish on Cardano for a few years now. And they're finally starting to bring everything together. Shelley's launched. Now we're looking at Gauguin, and we're looking for Voltaire, and we're looking at all these other elements to this extremely powerful blockchain that I believe is going to beat the pants off Ethereum. But then you've got things like Civic. Civic has been around a while. It's up 156% over its low of just 1 penny. So there's a lot of room for growth here. The problem with Civic, as you're going to see, is it's got 1 billion tokens. 1 billion tokens is pretty high, and you're looking at $1.66 as an all-time high. So these projects don't even have to meet or even exceed their all-time highs to make millionaires, and that's basically what this video is all about. It's about finding projects that are being traded. There's definitely interest in the project. and they have a use case that is going to be likely to carry them hopefully at least back to its original all-time high, if not higher. But even if it doesn't, millionaires are still going to be made. And that's the gist of it. Now, Power Ledger is one of the projects that I've really been bullish on for a long time, and I think they're doing some fantastic things. I mean, basically, the way they're set up is they're utilizing this token to empower people who have, let's say I run a bunch of wind turbines or something like that in a rural community, and I'm mining up. Let's call it mining. I don't even know what the term is, but I'm conjuring up more power than I can actually use. And I can store that power, and then I become like a power company. And so then I can utilize Power Ledger. It's basically like a ledger system keeping track of the power usage, what's available, and the ability to sell it to people who need it. And they're big in Australia. They're doing a lot of big things. I just don't think it's a sexy enough use case for it to go to the moon. It's a very niche market. And while that market continues to grow and they continue to increase their adoption, how much adoption they're going to get, how much transaction they're going to get on the blockchain and so forth and so on over the next year to 2 years, I don't know. But it's not sexy enough to drive the speculative market, in my opinion, to crazy all new highs. What I think, though, is that with the price being at just 9 cents and it being up, let's see, it's up 188% since its low of 3 cents. You've got a 19 break-even multiple. That's kind of sexy, but it's not the best thing since sliced bread. And what I think is going to happen is it's probably, my guess is going to be a late bloomer in the market. And some of these projects are going to be what I consider to be potentially late bloomers in the market as we move forward. Zilliqa's already up 600% since its low of 0.002 cents, but it's still slow. It's still growing slowly. I'm not sure what's holding Zilliqa back right now, but its real trading volume, you're looking at $14 million a day in trading volume. People are trading it. People are liking it. There's a lot of speculative investment going on with Zilliqa, but because of this total supply of tokens of almost 14 billion, that's one of the things that's keeping it as a very slow grow as we move forward. Zilliqa really needs to get that use case up. They need to get their transactions up, and they need to get they need to get more people involved. So we'll see how that comes about. Cardano, if you've watched me for any length of time, you already know everything there is to know about Cardano because I've covered it in length. I've had Charles on my channel several times. I love the project. I'm hugely bullish. It's my favorite project in all of blockchain. I honestly, I think at some point in the future, it could even be a contender against Bitcoin. And I know that may sound crazy to some, but I believe it's absolutely possible. I don't think anything's going to take Bitcoin out of the store of value king position. But in terms of overall market cap and things like that, I think there's a chance that Cardano could be competitive in the future. In the distant future, mind you, but in the future. Streamer, DATA is the ticker. This has been one of the most volatile projects in crypto for quite some time, and it's been very good for bot trading. But it's up, let's see, what are we up? It's up 910% from its low of 0.004 cents. Okay? So right now we're sitting at a break-even multiple of 6.8. Streamer is going to be very, very popular. I believe that the data is going to be a very, very popular blockchain and a very popular protocol because the way this project handles itself. Let's see here. So I'm going to show you guys some things real quick about data because I want you to understand. So they're calling it a data management and data marketplace, but it's okay. Streamer's mission is to replace centralized message brokers with a global decentralized peer-to-peer network for real-time data. By relying on cryptography instead of trust, the open source network enables data sharing and monetization in Internet of Things and smart cities, business, consortia, individual crowd selling through data unions, and the Web 3.0. Basically, when you talk about data that's being delivered and changing hands, whether it's identification data or hell, even like smart cars, you're talking about Teslas driving themselves, things like that. a lot of this data is going to need a pipeline, and a lot of this data is, they're working on basically pushing all of this stuff through something like data. Go check it out, because this video is really not about deep dives into any individual project, but check it out if you're not familiar, because I think this is likely going to be a winner as we move forward. If we look at some of the other metrics here, it's not growing super fast right now. My nose is so itchy. But it's reported trade volume at $1.4 million a day. Again, it's not making much sense to me why it's taking so long, but it is up 910%, but it started at a freaking fraction of a penny. So it's very easy to pump something like this. We'll have to see how this moves forward, but I've got my eye on it, and I've definitely enjoyed trading it with my bot. VeChain's up 753% over its low of 0.001 penny. But it's at a break-even multiple right now of 5.5. So, and I know this video says 5 true potential millionaire makers. I think all these projects have the potential to do something like that. Power Ledger is getting an F with Flipside, which to me is crazy, but a part of me kind of thinks that it's getting such a low grade because of its very niche-specific industry. It's catering to one specific problem. It doesn't have a big breadth of protocols that are solving this problem and that problem and another. But at the same time, the thing of it is something as niche as this, with the team behind it and with what they're accomplishing in other countries and in the U.S., something like this could surpass some of these other projects that are trying to, hit too many nails with one hammer, and they just don't have the strength, the power, the speed, the scalability, any of that stuff to accomplish their goals, and they go under. But they can be rated an A because of their overall vision and the team behind it and the technology, so forth and so on. So when I look at these grading systems, I'm kind of like, okay, that's fine. They did finally upgrade Cardano to an S, because I think it was a B for quite a while. So that just kind of goes to show it's very relative to what's happening in that day. And then you've got Ren. I show Elrond here as well, but I mean, Ren has just been booming. I mean, it's up 1,200% over its high of a penny and a half. Its break-even multiple right now is 1.1. So I expect to see Ren jump up much more and much more beyond its original all-time high. Now, what I've been doing is I was actually looking at Ren against Bitcoin. And if I'm looking at Ren here against Bitcoin, you can see Ren versus Bitcoin on a 1-hour chart. It peaked up here, and then it started to go down. But overall, it's had a very steady trend upwards against the value of Bitcoin. So it's been growing very quickly. But this is August 1st. So this all happened relatively soon, relatively recently, I guess is what I'm looking for. So, and again, this is a 1-hour chart. So this is July 19th back here. So from July 19th to let's see, we're looking at basically August 1st, 2 days ago. You're looking at a period of weeks, and it just continued dumping. And then it got so low, it started to pump pretty hard. And look, I've seen Ren come and go, and I've seen its volatility being pretty high. So we'll see what happens. I don't even know a whole hell of a lot about Ren, but I've been hearing about it, and I've been watching other people talk about it, and I'm thinking, okay, that could be kind of decent. So what I did was I actually started putting it into my bot, and I'm going to show you what I did. Where is it here? Oh, shoot. Hold on. There we go. All right. So this is Crow Trader. This is my bot, and I'm definitely I'm committed to diving back into this much more. I had it sitting on a VPS, and then I got COVID, and well, it's been sitting on my VPS for a while, but it's because it was so disconnected and it was out there, and I had to keep logging into it. I had this crazy hard password, and I'm like, blah, and so I just got lazy about it. I'm like, I'm so tired, I'll just let it go, and then I reset it, and I pulled it, and I put it on my desktop, and now I'm getting back together with it. So I'm monitoring it, and I'm using it daily now. So I'm going to be giving more updates. This is going to be filled with a lot of trades. I'm going to be doing trades against Bitcoin, Ethereum and potentially USD Tether. So you'll see I've been trading right now with Bitcoin against Tether. I've got a positive trade right now. It's up 0.5%. I've got this trade. It's down 3%. This was left over from before. I just started with an ARC BTC trading strategy, and I just started REN. REN, the trade that I just turned a bunch of these on, and it's activated trades. BNB, it's up 2%, still hasn't sold, so we're waiting for that. And I'm using the Bollinger Band strategy on quite a few of these. But what I did was I did REN versus BTC, and I think I did this on, let me see here, buying a fixed amount, standard deviation, low band, time frame 20. I can't remember what, honestly, I can't remember what, 5 minutes. There, it's right there in front of me. So yeah, this is 5 minutes, 5 minute candles on a Bollinger Band strategy. So basically what I'm doing, and then if I go in here, let's say, because when I'm using my bot, I want to be using my bot trading projects that I think are likely going to be going up. And I want to see them going up steadily against Bitcoin, because if an altcoin is rising with Bitcoin and it's continuing to move, even though those ebbs and flows of the project, as long as it's continuously moving up higher than Bitcoin over a good period of time, I think there's a pretty good possibility there that it's going to do well on the bot, because every time those prices connect or cross over, there's going to be a trade happening. So I'm looking at things like Aeon, Civic, Power Ledger. They're all up. Zilliqa. Now, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going into back testing, and I'm going to pull up Bollinger Band. Let me see what I can do with Zilliqa. Zilliqa. I'm going to do a market. I'm going to start to do 0.05, fixed amount, 0.05 on the trades. Market, slippage and fees. Let's look at a 5 minute chart initially over 7 days. I'm going to leave all of that stock. I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm looking for 1% gains in price action. So running that test, and we're going to see, okay, so basically at that point, total gain is about 8.78% over a week. So if I were trading using just this base strategy, this Bollinger Band trail strategy with Zilliqa versus Bitcoin, and I'm trading, this is showing my entries and exits in there, I'll be up 8.78% over the week. And then down here it's showing you exactly those trades. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the paper trade, confirm that that's all good, continue the paper trade, and boom. Now I've got Zilliqa BTC. I'm going to run that as a paper trade. I'll update people in the video, but that's how simple it is. And then if I like it, let's just go ahead and make it live. Why not? It's taking me to my live trade. I turn it on. Boom. The bot is now searching. Sentinel's looking for an entry point. That's how easy it is to trade with CrowTrader. So if you're into it and you like bot trading, check it out. It's crowtrader.com. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that it's very easy to use. It's very easy. I mean, you saw how easy that was. I mean, there's no question. But you know, the different strategies, that's what the back testing is all about. The back testing is about testing these different strategies, changing the settings to the way you like them, especially if you're in technical analysis and, you know, you're charting things out on a regular basis and you see, you know, like a 13/34 crossover, like an EMA cross, and you want to be able to trade that automatically. You can do that kind of stuff with CrowTrader. And so that's basically what this is all about. It's making it very easy to change the strategies. The only downfall, and I will tell you, the only major downfall that I believe CrowTrader has is that it doesn't have just a blanket trading ability for everything on an exchange. That's the only thing that kind of stinks. You have to do every pair individually. So hopefully that's something that we can look at in the future, and we can add that as a feature, because that was one of the things that I really loved about the other bots that I've used, is that you could trade the entire market pretty much and just turn, I want to trade all 75 of these different coins and leave the rest out, or vice versa. So you can't do that just yet. But hopefully in the future we'll add something to it. It just depends on how many people really like it or using it. Make sure you join the CrowTrader Telegram community. You can find a link to that at crowtrader.com. Hopefully this video helps you, And let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. I'm looking for good projects. There are over 7,000 crypto projects out there, and as much as I'd love to research all of them, I just don't have the time. So point me in the right direction. Let me know what you're thinking about. Let me know what you're looking for, what you're looking at, and what do you think of the market going on right now? Do you think Bitcoin's going to hit 9,800 bucks or lower before we see $12,000, $13,000 again? Or are we going to go up from here? Let me know what you guys think. Until next time, grow your coins, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining me.